There's no easy way of putting this, guys, but the road to glory has got potholes all over it. There is booby traps, there is all sorts of dangers down this road, and so far we have not we've not carved out a path here of success. We've not managed to escape any of the potholes so far. I've actually lost track how many game weeks we're going, but this weekend it was another close but no cigar situation, and you know, we're getting closer. We're almost quite cracked it. Last week as well, after we did the Road to Glory show, I went into the market and we brought in another recruit. We brought someone else in, and it kind of helped us. We got some promotions. We have won some stuff. And with Sorare changing the goalposts for the better to make it easier on the second hot streak this week after a bit of a revamp on them over the last month or so overall, this coming weekend surely has to be our time to get our first step, our first bit of footing on the road to getting the 3 win streaks, because we need to get that badge for the May special event, which has like a $20,000 prize pool in it, which is going to have like almost no one in it as things stand at the moment. So the pressure is on, the clock is ticking like we spoke about last week. In the video today, we'll go through the lay of the land, how the chips fell for the NYC stacks, all the classic stuff I've got going on as well as how we're trying to, you know, keep the strategy into some sort of consistent pattern so that once these potholes and whatever else kind of clear up, we're going to be gunning for it. We're going to be going up the gears and we're going to be hitting top speed in no time. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. If you're brand new to Sorare, if you're an MLS fan or whatever like that, and you're looking forward to playing some extra fantasy football action, then make sure to hit the link that's in the description in this video. It'll get you $50 of extra market credit to go out there and reinforce your roster so you can build your MLS fantasy team and compete against all of us other chumps that are going nowhere fast. And if you can do get stuck, if you've got any questions, reach out into the comment section. I'll come and sort you out, because clicking that link doesn't just help you with the extra credit, but it supports me and all the content here at the channel. So I'm forever grateful if you do so, and if you do need help, of course, reach out. But yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it, because as you can see, we've got limited and rare MLS hot streak potential available. And although that progression bar, when we come to look at it on every one of these episodes, we're getting a little bit closer and a little bit closer without quite tipping over and getting the first streak underway, this is also beginning to highlight to me the really how good we're going to have to be to get all 3 streaks like unlocked game week after game week. And you know, we've won some cash this week as well from Champion Euro. I really want to say thanks to Kevin De Bruyne, but it really isn't, is it? We've just about creeped into 89th with this budget team as well, thanks to the Caicedo that we won. Of course, we get De Bruyne for like 40 quid or something. And, you know, I absolutely bottled it on the Como stack that we normally run into this, which brought Guardiola into the equation as well. And I'm a bit gutted that I wasn't a bit more just in the deep end with this, to be frank, just to touch on this for a moment, because had I played Valle, classic Kakari and Ikone. Now, Ikone, I might have played in an alternate reality, not too likely. Of course, we knew Smolcic wasn't going to start, so I could have done that, and it would have paid off massively, by the way, if we did. A wee bit gutted, but we're picking up a little bit of cash from this, $30 or so we'll keep that into the kitty, along with a little bit of market credit that we picked up for having a player in the Brazilian league get a goal at the weekend. So we got $5 of market credit for that, and there might be another like game week challenge to check out actually in the midweek coming. Yeah, if we get 2 goals from a Conference League player. I'm not sure what Conference League players I've got playing, so we might try and get another little bit of that, which is fun, and we'll see what happens on for the weekend. But our hot streak team, our top in-season MLS lineup that we fielded was the NYC stack with the Kessler kicker in defence here, and we went with captain Hannes Wolf because he's just been that decisive. NYC only scored 1 goal in this game, and it was a rebound converted by Keaton Parks, who was never going to make it into this team. Sadly robbed anyone of any sort of assist as well. But with Matt Freese not conceding 3, his score was still somewhat acceptable, 62 without a clean sheet. A lot of AA for the big man here, and he helped certainly. But Kessler away to SKC, who just sacked Peter Vermees, absolutely shat the bed, didn't bring in anything at all. Conceded 2 goals, no clean sheet bonus, but a lot of the stats he's normally quite proficient in just didn't catch in this game, so he really let the side down. We got 314 points, but which, considering the target itself was 380 and how, you know, subpar this team done, we weren't really that far away. And as you'll see, the dream team here sadly was not close, but we had the components elsewhere. And like I was saying in last week's video, once you've got the ingredients, you can see across all your lineups that yeah, I actually had a 5 that might have went together and could have smashed. Now, the 5 that could have went together for success for me. Might have been a team I fielded right at the beginning of the season when I was still building my roster. It was never going to be a combination I would have used with the amount of options I've got, sadly, now. So it just kind of came out in the wash, as it were. But Alonso Martinez, we picked him up off of the secondary market, maybe, for like 50 quid or something like that before the deadline last week, just to give us that final NYC piece that we don't have. Who is the goal scorer? And I was looking at Muriel, and there's one or two other players that are doing quite well, and I've got the NYC sack. Why don't I just get the NYC version of like Benteke, Muriel? That's who else it was. Sadly, the double fullback team here showed the weakness of the double fullback play, because fullbacks can just bring in these minging scores of possession loss, goals conceded, and everything else that goes along with that. So sadly for Gutman here, 13 possession loss without enough defensive actions or any attacking things kind of coming into play, and Ilinic here really letting the possession suck away all of his good points elsewhere, as well as the 2 goals conceded and the no clean sheet potential there. So again, quite close but not quite on point for us with getting the midfielder, because Parks was in this lineup, very reliable forward. Imagine like Alonso did get the assist or something, we might have got, we might not hit it, but again, it's not too far beyond the realms of possibility that this team has the classic threes in it, so it wouldn't actually hit the hot streaks, but still we're using that as a bit of a benchmark, because it seems to be a score that a lot of people are struggling with, not just me. And then because we'd brought in the Alonso Martinez and the way we'd constructed the lineups, this was actually the 4th priority lineup that we had, and this is actually going to get promoted out of Division 3, thankfully. And this was just a bunch of guys that will play, hopefully they don't do crap. 305 points. They're also going to collect 2 essence. Once we get to 20 essence, we can turn that into a card. Because I'm playing teams in multiple kind of strategies across Rare, I'm kind of capturing essence a little bit quicker, and I'm thinking about maybe saving my essence up now for next year. But if you're just playing MLS, getting those little Division 3 boosts like this, because that is a rubbish score, like really, but no decisives or anything. So if you can get little bits of success with your backup teams, your tertiary teams, as it is for me here. I don't know what the 4th version of tertiary is. But there you go. Our in-season team was, oh guys, this absolutely broke my heart. Jaden Nelson at limited, so we're going for the limited hot streak. We finished on 263 points, which seems way off it, but forward Jaden Nelson, DNP, and a guy that normally brings in a huge score, as well as the wrong captain pick here. This team could have maybe done something if we played Bakrar into this, or even Alonso Martinez for that matter, alongside the jamminess of Odenholm picking up a 60, Thiago Martins on a 65 as well before multiplier. We mentioned Freeze already, and sadly we captained jersey number legit here, and had we even put Parks into this, imagine that, it could have worked out all the better. So sadly, nothing for this team, only a little bit of XP. And again, this could have got us on the hot streak run. So I think for the competition, I think it is like limited, rare, and whatever. Maybe need to investigate that, how the entry works for it. But maybe a limited entry is just as valuable as a rare one. Outside of that, for in-season, I think it was just training lineups we had. Yeah. Otherwise, we had some classic rares, which, again, just close but no cigar. DNP for Mickey Yaman really derailed this one in D2, sadly. I'd like to get a team into D1, because I think when I've got a D1 team, I might be able to swing for the fences a little bit easier, whereas now I'm trying to cover bases and just play stacks and whatever. The other team, the NYC lineup, had Parks in it, but sadly nothing else really went its way. And then this team, wrong captain, Bamba finally done something, CR7 did an okay score despite losing 3-0, but yeah, the scores weren't really there for the classics that we selected, was there? Choupo-Moting got a goal in the limited lineup, which was essentially one of the first bona fide training lineups that you see here, because I'm always listing out my maximum amount of teams here with the backup goalkeepers and trying to get the XP up on particularly the in-season cards as often as possible, so that if and when I do call upon them, they're as important as possible. And equally with my either high collection score classic rares, or even just the ones that maybe don't have the game this week but maybe will have in the future, we're making sure we're collecting XP for them at every opportunity, as well as stacking the XP up from the wins. Now, this coming weekend actually is a very busy slate of Sorare action across the pantheon of competitions that we've got here. A collector event in Bundesliga, Ultra Attack, and so much stuff is going on, never mind the best of Europe. So we'll be tackling this in the next video on the channel. But for the Road to Glory, we're primarily focusing on MLS and taking down that hot streak. Again, now we're going to have 3 teams in Division 2, so I'm now wondering, do I change the priority list from that limited And again, there was maybe a cause on reflection from last week that maybe Limited should have been our second priority, and maybe Alonso Martinez and Keaton Parks could have went into that. But for the first one, it's always going to be Matt Friesen goals. At home to Philly, this isn't Philly have been good. They've been one of the teams I've been happy to big up and praise and recommend to you guys for potential players. But for NYC at home, I don't think that's a game I'm overly concerned with. We are going to try and build the streak on. I would be quite happy to take Thiago Martins after the performance we've seen against Minnesota here at home. Similar level of strength, I think, in terms of opponent and a kind of taste for the performance at the venue. Gutman's playing Miami. Kessler's at home to Columbus. That could be really good for Kessler. But going on like what we've seen at Kansas, like maybe a wee bit more likely to be better for them at home than on their travels. And the difference in shift between having Peter Vermees or not could be something. Elenic, fullback plays are just one of those ones where you can just pick them all the wrong times, and then the one time you don't pick them, they smash you in the face. So he's always going to be kind of in my face and in consideration for this. But I actually think defence is potentially my toughest spot. Maxi Morales hasn't happened for us so far, and the rest of the midfielders have been quite shaky. But Maxi Morales is kind of like the must-play midfielder I have, because his AA is so consistent and he is going to get a decisive, and at home is most likely going to be where he does it. And when he does do that, we are going to be in for some action. Now, because we also have Alonso Martinez in here now, there is a real quandary with what to do with the forwards. We now have 3, we could only play 2. If we're going to go double forward on this one, Alonso Martinez is the man nailed on, didn't score in the last game, and if NYC are going to score, you normally expect him to be involved. Hannes Wolf has been ever improving, and Julian Fernandez has been in amongst it as well, by the way, and I'm a big fan of him. But I think we go for Alonso Martinez just because of the safety of him. And Hannes Wolf is a 90-minute player, whereas Julian Fernandez isn't always. So I think that would be the difference maker. And I like the fact that he's a forward because like goal concession doesn't hurt him as much. And then we're kind of going back into the same strategy as last week. And I'm very tempted to maybe just play Kessler in here at home to Columbus. But seeing the scores of Thiago Martin, like they're acceptable enough if he doesn't get that negative decisive. And maybe this is the week where a full stack does pay off. And I think I have to captain. Oh no, let's go for Captain Freeze. I think Freeze has earned the captain's armband for us. Very AA capable. As long as he doesn't concede free, he could still hit a 60 as well. So that's always good to see. And yeah, let's go Captain Freeze on this one just for bants. And we'll try with the wholehearted NYC stack to try and hit that 380 pointer. Now Sean John is at home to Minnesota, who NYC were just at home to as well, and they did look pretty good. They are flying. They are third now in the table, but that's a lot of travel in this week, and again it's the away situation. Could Sean Johnson actually be the goalkeeper of choice for me this week? I'm going to give it a try. If we do, well, we only have classic keeper, so that really limits us for the rest of the choices. But I think Kessler is a great shout at this point of the build, as well as Parks again, and Julian Fernandez on his start. Now, we don't know what the situation is with Gutierrez. Him and Nelson have actually been somewhat of a pain in the ass for me. But we do have like quite safe plays in the likes of O'Toole and Elenic. I'm not sure that Odenholm is going to retain his place. I think he was covering a guy who was suspended. But Legit at home to Seattle, that's the kind of game he could maybe pop up in. Gutman at home to Miami. Again, he could just get a wee cheeky decisive in this one, but it's a tough game to back. It's a tough game to really go for in that regard. So I think I want to take Elenic in here just to add that fullback potential in here. And off the back of last week, I have to captain Parks because he has been doing pretty well this season. He did get an injury. He's kind of powered through that. He's got a goal now, so if he has to go and build a nice little L3, L5, that 94 is going to be the kickoff point, isn't it? So I think that could be a really good second priority lineup. And looking at the strength that I've got here, I think I do want to keep the priority list the same way as last time, and we're going to go to limited in season. So we have unlimited Mat 3s. Now the limited cards are a lot cheaper than the rares, but a lot of these rares I'm playing with are quite nominally priced. So as an overall average cost of squad, I think this is still a good value play for a lot of people. We can play somebody like Gutman in here, quite guilt free, same as Legit, and Jaden Nelson. I don't know what to think about him because they're playing midweeks as well. We come off the bench against Pumas for 28 minutes. He DNP'd at the weekend. And that was at home, so they're going away this time. And then does that bleed into the weekend? I'm not too sure. We have Bakrar, who we know is going to come off the bench. Came off the bench against Minnesota and, got some AA, didn't he? So not to be totally written off, but it is really between those two. But at point of recording, I think it's safe we go with Bakrar. We just know we're going to get some points off of him, which means then this strategy is really relying upon every other player to elevate them up. And with the uncertainty of our two other guys that should be in that frame, the unlikelihood of Odenholm returning, I think I need to take somebody like an Ojeda, a guy, again, similar to Bakrar, where those guys could both come off the bench and maybe link up together potentially. And, do you know, I might captain the Freeze again, by the way, which means this team is going to be a really bona fide training effort. So I'm going to take my lowest power Sean John on this one, and then just throw the guys in like Burke Risa, who I'd expect to play. I've got O'Toole in midfield, who should play. The Nelson then can be somebody we can think about coming off the bench, and if he doesn't, he's going to collect some XP. Pedrinho, it feels like since we picked him up, he has kind of fallen out the picture as well, sadly. But yeah, I don't mind that here for Nelson. And would I even go as far as to add Gutierrez into this? I don't know. I think Hack is maybe a bit safer, because again, a big guy could just jam in with a decisive somehow. So I think last time we built this team as well, we captained O'Toole, and I'm really just waiting for the day we can open O'Toole and hopefully he changes position to being a defender, because as a mid, he's pretty mid, pardon the expression. And we're really hoping that the classic guys can go out and win us some cards to reinforce the ranks here, or continue to scoop some essence for us. Mickey Yaman missed the last game and is going to be playing midweek against Tigres, so don't know how that filters into the Houston game at this point. O'Toole as a defender card isn't that bad either as a shout, can be quite double, triple capable. Doesn't really give away a lot of possession lost, but isn't really decisive capable, sadly. But, you know, there is occasions where he can jam in with one, so he is always considerable. Thiago Martins on full XP is maybe a bit more reasonable at classic level. We love Amundsen, of course, but hasn't really been popping the scores off in the L5, but they are top of the league. Amundsen could feel like a good play to go with here. And you know, I don't want to totally copy the kind of stack build that we've had already. I'm going to play Maxi Morales and Alonso Martinez into this, but it's all about catching those big scores, and I think I want to put someone in like a Jonathan Bamba here, although it's at home to Miami. Big game player, an attacking player as well, so we don't care about goal concession or anything like that. And like we can see in his makeup, like 80s are on the menu for him, alongside kind of everyone except for Alonso Martinez, I suppose. And we're just going to back to player edition Maxi Morales here as captain to go and do the business for us. I think we swing for the fences with the NYC Classic stack here. I love these stacks when I can get one from each collection in it as well, in terms of the classic ones. It's just a wee bit of extra fun. And then for the final classic rare team, we're just kind of throwing together a bunch of names, you know, just the kind of standalone guys that should do halfway okay. I do not hold out much hope for Red Bulls away to Orlando, to be perfectly honest. But if they are to get a goal or two, there'll be high value points on the offer as well. And I think CR7 away to Dallas is just like, why not play him? And then we got promoted in Classic Limited last game week as well. So this means that this team might actually win a card that we can go and give away gladly to the FC Barcelona community, the members here on the channel. And this team feels like it's going to be really long shotty. I might even go double fullback on this one, by the way, because we've not done that strategy yet. We're having to play Ojeda in midfield, but who's likely to feature from the bench. I'm not too sure I can trust João Paulo or Ladero. Odenholm, yeah, so Ojeda from the bench like could be handy enough. Can come off the bench and score halfway acceptable enough. I'm not going to make him captain. That's just a click mistake there. I might be captain in Freeze again, by the way. Captain Freeze, by the way. So the MLS Road to Glory looks a little bit like this, and I'm quite hopeful we can get onto the hot streaks. I'm quite hopeful that one of these rare D2s could get lucky and pop into Division 1. And with the classic rares that we've got, again, like I think all those lineups are quite well rounded. There's some of them that, you know, have got tough fixtures and they're unlikely to do well. We're obviously quite well embedded with NYC, so we're kind of hitched to their result and how many goals they score and concede, obviously. But I think across like the budget stack that we've got here, we've got enough irons in the fire that playing a lot of averages, playing like one of these teams should finally come off. We've got the right players. We've not really been quite nailing the combos, and hopefully there's a good combo in here that could just about get us not only on the hot streak, but building in some essence, winning some cards, getting some more XP in, all that good stuff. Now, at the beginning of the show, I did kind of highlight that we've won $30 from our little kind of budget champion kind of thing. It's getting promoted into D1. And I think I'll end the episode just by having a wee click through here and seeing what we can do, because we've still got Butez, who is our budget champ goalkeeper. Alex Valley had a good game against Monza. It's quite easy to imagine that he plays again, and this makes me kind of tempted to maybe do what we didn't do last week. And actually looking at those midfielders, Caicedo and Teji, who are both guys I've won this season. De Bruyne didn't really do it in the Manchester derby, did he? Will he do it at home to Palace? Probably, after we don't play him. But in D1, we could have a real puncher's chance, by the way. Caicedo at home to Ipswich could just do another one of these, like, 92-66 type matches. They're playing midweek, so maybe a bit of fatigue comes onto him. And Teje sadly never got a decisive against Le Havre, but away to Angers, he's maybe in the same kind of fixture strength again, which makes him relatively appealing to take. I almost cannot not click on De Bruyne here, but we go Caicedo, obviously, because he's just superstar for an in-season midfielder. We want to try and maximise what we get out of him. And then, you know, Rafinha away to Leganes. Let's see how the Champions League goes, but that could be none too bad if he is expected to play. But we have Assane Diao and we've got Jonathan Ikone as well, which might just be another little double forward play here. So again, like, guys on a budget, I'm coming into, like, Torino normally have got a really good defence and all the rest of it, but they didn't do too hot last weekend. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic somewhat let me down. Yeah, I can't not pick De Bruyne really. But then that makes me think I could maybe change out Valley for a classic. This is kind of what we ended up doing last week when we slid in Guardiola. We could even just repeat the same team and hope, yeah, maybe that's a strategy we run. Guardiola, but very OP, could go into a strong, are we still in D1 under 23 potentially? But yeah, D1 is where Guardiola should be. So let's kind of slide that in for a second. Do we have under 23 D1? I could still play Frimmers, but Frimmers is not Guardiola. Bernabe's playing midweek though. Urco. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play him at under 23 D1 to like a good degree of strength. And if De Bruyne is on to play, that's easy. And if De Bruyne isn't on to play, we've got Teji, we've got lots of other choices. So, you know, this little, like, Boutez is a goalkeeper, in case you've missed it. He was really crap in France, and I basically traded him for Boutez because he was Como. And I got the Ikone for £2, we got Diao for £11. So, yeah, the champion strategy has been a really slow burner this season. We're finally getting into D1. And yeah, if De Bruyne does play, by the way, we could be sneaky good here. I can't help myself now because we do have Luis Jr. maybe back as well, and we did do some Road to Glory content that was kind of starting off in La Liga with that guy, so having him back now, and we have some pretty tasty fixtures as well. Valencia at home to Sevilla isn't terrible for someone like Gaia, but Aaron Barrow has a sneaky rotation risk. Sergio Gomez is starting to do his thing. Rafinha for captain, obviously. And then we can take a classic to finish. Wouldn't this just be a thing of beauty, by the way? Take, who we won last season. This season we won Salah, turned that into Rafinha. And then the rest of these guys we got kind of, maybe not bottomed up, but we got them all super cheap. So some nice budget strategies there going out and in season. Not just in MLS primarily, because we're aiming for those hot streaks, but those budget European strategies we've got are still bubbling away pretty nicely, and we're still just waiting, kind of similarly to the MLS one, for it to just have a week or two where it falls into place and it comes good. And you need that to happen when you're in Division 1, and it feels like with Europe we're just about there. In La Liga we're maybe a week or two behind, and hopefully for MLS in America this could be the week where we get it going. On screen there was some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to jump into the comment section on this one and let me know how your Road to Glory efforts are going. Have you unlocked the free win streak, hot streak badge? Have you got your ticket for the May competition yet or not? I'm looking forward to catching that and seeing your progress, because where I'm sitting it feels like it's still all for grabs. There's not that many badges out there, but let me know how you're getting on with your progress, of course. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one.